Hello and welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
And I'm Corey Ballmeister.
And we've got Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Rob will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. Today, we are exploring some post-ban standard again in the wake of last weekend's SCG Tour Online Season 2 Championship Qualifier number 2.
It's a mouthful.
Yes. Got plenty of good results of this new standard metagame that we're going to be exploring over the next couple of months until Zendikar Rising. Is that the next set?
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, that's already next month, you know, and we have 1 month, right?
Preview season it will be next month.
Yeah, exactly.
But really, we'll be playing this format for another 6 weeks at least.
Yep.
So
yep.
Plenty of standard left to be played even at this late stage, and plenty of development still to be had. It just really is a new metagame. And we saw a pretty diverse metagame. That said, there's a clear winner at the top, and that was Sultai Ramp. Deck put multiple copies into the top 8, ended up taking home the trophy, and so that's where we're going to start. I'm going to be playing Sultai, and Corey's actually going to be playing the deck that Sultai defeated in the finals of this tournament. So we're replaying that finals match.
Exactly, and it was, once we got to the top 4, it was just Sultai versus Rakdos, Sultai versus Rakdos. So it was pretty clear that these two decks, had really good finishes and stuff. Sultai, it's pretty hard for that deck to ever be bad or anything. It's really hard to hate out. It just has so many of the most powerful cards, Uro, Nissa, fill in the blanks with whatever kind of interaction you think. And honestly, that's what this deck is to me. Before, people were playing like Joriels and maybe like Elvish Visionaries, and it was kind of trying to be more of this like tap out, advantage deck that way. But now people are just realizing that if they just play all 2-mana interaction and just try to deal with what people do, Nissa and Uro will take over, and that's all the win cons you need. And I think that's super smart. And the more the metagame gets solved like this, the more we know how many eliminates we want versus how many Heartless Acts. And I think this deck can only get better as your metagame gets pinpointed. So,
you can create the right removal suite.
Yeah.
And, Sultai was kind of the default deck. I think leading in, everybody expected it to be one of, if not the most played deck in the tournament. It was the most played deck. So no surprise to see it performing well. But Rakdos Sacrifice really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no kidding.
A deck that wasn't, super popular or super successful before the ban, lost one of its key elements in Cauldron Familiar, but came out of nowhere to put 2 people into the top 4 with the same list.
Yeah,
I think their sideboards were a little bit different. Their sideboards were a little different, but their main decks were the same. And that's a pretty strong endorsement for the deck. There weren't many people playing Rakdos overall, but people who did play it did all do well, essentially.
Yeah, honestly, it's surprising to me. Like, I have been a fan of Lurrus Rakdos style decks. Like, Priest is an unbelievable Magic card right now, and there's not a lot of good removal for it, and that's like the only way that I can see that it did really well. But there are a lot of Bone Crusher Giants out there to stomp those things down. So it was shocking to me, and that's why I really wanted to play on the Rakdos side, even though you're most of the time the Lurrus player.
Yeah.
I'm just generally curious if the deck is good, because it doesn't seem good to me on paper, but it did so well that it's hard to argue with those results. So
this was definitely a metagame where I think people weren't expecting many aggressive decks.
Yeah.
So it could certainly be the case that people just weren't prepared enough for aggro, and so some aggro decks got to shine. But with 2 of them both making the top 4 with the same list, that kind of tells me that there might be something more lurking beneath the surface there.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, even if you don't expect aggro, like, you have Claim the Firstborn in your deck, so you would think that you want aggro with this. So it everything just seemed kind of weird to me, but that's why we're here on Versus today, to do some learning and figure out, what's good in Standard, because we got another Standard qualifier this weekend to play, and I know we're both playing. And I played Mardu Winoda, which we'll be seeing for my second deck, and I did pretty well. I went 5-2. Still took like 20th because I lost pretty early in the tournament. And I like that deck too, but, maybe I want to dabble into something else. Might be Rakdos.
And there's plenty of time to find a new decks. I don't think we're going to see, a very quickly solved format here, because there's no deck that is so head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah.
And that's what's been happening for the last year and a half or so in Standard. So we're going to see a typical progression where, 2 or 3 weeks from now, the metagame might look completely different than what we have now.
Yeah.
So it's important not to just take the results at face value, put in some work with the decks and try to figure out which ones are really contenders and which ones were more just taking advantage of certain holes that existed in the metagame on that weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's one thing that I'm kind of interested in. I don't know if it can be good anymore, but it's pretty hard to think that a Bant deck couldn't be good. Like ECD is a heck of a Magic card. You still get to play Teferi and stuff like that. So I'm kind of interested in trying that. Huh?
You don't get to play Teferi.
Or yeah, you don't get to play Teferi, but
that's the one you don't get.
Yeah, that's the one.
I agree with it. Elspeth Conquers Death seems like a great card to me.
It really does, yeah.
But the lack of Teferi is a really big deal because that was one of the major draws into white.
That's true. Maybe that is not good enough. You can play like Dream Crawler and ECD and stuff, but
both of which are very good.
That's true. All right, well, shall we do some battling?
Yeah.
Looks like for some reason they put the marbles on the wrong side again, so I guess I get to go first.
Sure.
All right. We got lands and spells. I'll keep.
I also have lands and spells, but I think I'm going to mulligan.
Okay.
One of my I only have 2 spells.
Okay.
And one of them is the Ugin.
Oh.
And the other one is Ether Gust, which is not great in this matchup.
I got some red cards.
Got a few red cards, but not very many.
I like it. Well, to start our morning off right, or afternoon, I should say. You can tell I've been sleeping in when we're not on Versus Live. Rob, you got any questions for us to start our day?
State of mind.
Yeah. Time's an illusion.
It's more of a statement that I've turned into a question.
Okay, I like that.
Tailored Fitness MTG mentioned Ragdos also hit #1 today in Standard with Croquis.
Yeah.
And you...
No. We got to take that back. Croquis starts at #1.
Sure.
He's just maintained his #1. Okay.
Of course.
All right.
Right. Overall, you paper boomers.
Yes, exactly.
So you commented about that list just a moment ago before the show went live. And what do you think is better about that list, different or worse about that list, different than that list compared to this one? And what do you feel like the weaknesses are of Ragdos Sacrifice in this meta in general?
Okay. Yeah, great question. So Lurrus right now is the benefit to this style of deck, but I don't think Lurrus is good enough on its own to consider that a benefit. I love Rankle Master of Pranks. So that's the biggest incentive for me to play the Croquis style list. And I want to get people dead. Me and Ross were talking about this on the way to the show, and this deck just isn't aggressive enough. We were both kind of thinking more interested in like the Rakdos Knights, where you get to play Embercleave, Rotting Regisaur, and just beat people down. Croquis list is kind of a mixture of this deck and, the beatdown Knight deck. And I mean, the synergies are insanely powerful when you get them going, and you probably don't get to play Priest if you play the beatdown deck, and that's a very powerful thing. So I think I like the direction closer to what Croquis has than the list that I'm currently playing. But I also have not played much Rakdos, so I can't say for sure, but I just love rankling people. That card's just unbelievably good.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Rankle, specifically in Rakdos, which I've played quite a bit of. And so the advantage of the Croquis list is just more individually powerful cards, Woe Strider and Rankle being among them. And then Mayhem Devil really helps out your aggro matchups. Just being able to spread a lot of damage around. That more sort of robust aggro plan, I think it helps out that deck.
Yeah.
Where Lurrus really helps you is that recursion is really good with Priest. Yeah. So it really helps set off the sacrifice synergies, which are harder to really set up now without Cat Oven. So Lurrus really helps you towards that direction as opposed to just being a straightforward aggressive deck.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but still with those sacrifice synergies, you introduce a lot of inconsistency where when you draw claims and either your opponent's not playing many creatures or you don't have the sacrifice outlets to go along with them or they kill your priest, now your cards can look really weak. So there's inconsistency and a greater ability for your opponent to be able to poke holes in your draw when you play more towards the synergy side of things, the sacrifice side of things. Whereas, if you're just using them as a minor element, then you're going to be a little bit more consistent at playing through that disruption if you're more of an aggro-focused deck.
Yep, agreed. And I mean, I look at this deck, and I always look at a deck in comparison to the deck that I'm playing and liking right now, and that's Mardu Winota. We're going to see my list that I've been messing around with here in the second deck, but I look at like how is this deck supposed to beat it, and there's like 4 pieces of removal at instant speed in the sideboard, and I remember Michael Jacob talking during the Players Tour, and he's like, all I need to do is have them not draw Mayhem Devil, and I'm fine, but if they draw that card, I'm dead. And I mean, that's definitely true. Pinging away all those tokens and stuff like that. So that's another aspect, is if Winota keeps getting better, something like Croaky's list is much better as well. So
yeah, Mayhem Devil is just so good in the aggro matchups.
Agreed. Shall we battle?
Well, I've taken my mulligan. We'll see if this hand is any better.
Okay.
It certainly is. So
let's battle.
Now the question becomes which card I want to put back. I think it'll just be
Decisions. Making you think this hard on the first game? You're in trouble today.
Yeah, it's just tough. Like, if I put this back, I could get rewarded. I could get really punished. So,
and whichever you do, you're going to get the other, right?
Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to put this one back because that way I can mitigate the downside of keeping this card. Yeah.
Alrighty, I'm going to take 2 and put the bones.
Here at 18.
Your go. It's Gutter Bones time.
Fabled Passage, pass the turn.
All right. Oh, that was a pretty good draw. Time for the Butcher.
I will go to 17.
All right. Bang. Your go. Top decking the Butcher there on perfect on turn 2. Gotta love it. You just gotta.
Do I?
You have to, yeah.
Hold on. Is that right? Is that what I want to do? Yeah, that's what I want to do.
All right, then it's your go. The pressure is on. Who said this deck doesn't have aggressive draws?
This is the most aggressive start that you can have.
I got 4 power. Turn 2. All right, Ross, what do you got? This deck is chock full of 2-mana interaction. You're not going to be growth spiraling me, but...
It will be Thought Erasure.
All right. I got these. Pretty good Thought Erasure hand.
I will take the Call of the Death Dweller.
Death Dwellers have been called.
And... yeah, I don't think we're going to want to hold on to a 6-drop. So.
Yeah, Casualty is not so good. Okay. Interesting draw, but not very good. Let's get in there.
I will go to 13.
Okay. And now we're going to go with the Croxa.
That is going to be fine. I will pitch a Narset.
Okay, and then I'll play Passage and pass to you.
Breeding Pool, pass the turn.
All right, I'll sack this.
In response, I'll Gust a Dreadhorde Butcher.
All right. I will...
Paid off for keeping the Gust.
Yep, I like that. That was a good play. It doesn't really matter where I keep it. Yeah, that was pretty punishing. But I mean, honestly, if you gust it, I don't really want it on the top anyways, so it's kind of going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Butcher loses a lot of value after it gets reset on...
And from my side, even though I think it's unlikely Corey leaves it on top, there's no reason for me to give him the option.
Yep, I like that. Okay, well, we'll give you the beatdowns.
11.
I will play Archfiend and Croxy you again.
Now let's see, 4 cards in the graveyard.
Yep.
Now we have a bit of a tough decision. So I am at 11. I think I'm just going to go for this next turn so I can try to dig hard for an Uro. So I'm going to pitch the Cultivate.
Okay, your go. You leave Uro away from this battlefield, okay?
I will go to 9 and play Teferi.
Okay.
I will plus to loot.
Okay.
I will discard the Uro that I drew.
Okay.
And I will play this land tap. So
I think you just played Overgrown Tomb, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can go.
Nice try, Buckaroo. So now it's kind of awkward. Like, I can't attack down Teferi in any meaningful way. Like, you can phase something out. Well, you can't phase, but you can just loot. So So I don't think attacking the Teferi really pays off right now, but those are just famous last words that I know I'm going to regret. Yeah, let's go at you.
I'll go to 6.
Okay, and then I'm going to play another one of these and put this into my hand. Your go.
On your end step, I'll loot.
Yep.
Gotta remember to do that. Ooh, baby.
I'm scared.
That seems like it's worth keeping.
I'm scared. Okay.
Maybe that's a mistake. And now I feel silly. Loot again.
Okay.
And
Teferi looter of time here. Extinction event. That's a good one.
Yeah, I drew the second copy after pitching the land.
What are you going to name?
I'll name Odd.
Okay, good call.
And then I will play a Zagoth Triome and pass the turn.
All right.
So now you have Lurrus, but you can't really do much with it unless you draw a land, and then you just lightning bolt me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to play Lurrus and pass to you.
On your
Did not
step,
get a
I'll
land.
loot.
Yep.
Milled another Uro.
Ooh.
Now we can play one.
Okay.
Don't think the cards in my graveyard matter. I will go to 9. And not going to put a land into play.
Okay.
I will then loot.
Okay.
Not the best of hits. So I'll play this land tapped and pass the turn. I could phase out the Lurrus on Corey's draw step to stop him from croxing me, but what I really want to stop is a claim on my Uro, which I can't do in response because you can only -3 Teferi on the creatures you don't control, but I can do it before he attacks with it.
That you can.
Although, will it then not come back to me?
Oh, that's a good point.
How does that interaction even work?
Yeah, because if it's phased out.
It says treat it and anything attached to it as though they don't exist until its controller's next turn. So does that mean I would get it back? Will I get it back at the end of his turn?
But
will
if
I get
it's
it back at the
phased
start of his next turn? Or will I never get it back?
Because it's happening. So we do need to figure that out. Because I have no idea. Because I'm gaining control of it. You're the owner. Right now, I'm the owner. You're the controller.
No, you're the controller.
Yeah, I'm always the owner.
Okay.
Because it's my card.
Yeah, so I'm controlling it. So creature.
It should logically, I think, go back to you, but I don't know if that's.
Because if it's phased out, I know it just doesn't exist. Then so
it's treated as though it doesn't exist. So why would it come back? Like, can we get a ruling on this? This is actually very important.
Yeah.
Because what I do would then, if I knew I couldn't stop that, then I would just -3, so you can't crox me.
Yeah. Should I go ask Ricky real quick?
I mean, I don't think they're in office, but.
Oh.
We need an adult.
We need adults. Huh. What is chat thinking? Both? Both opinions? That sounds about right.
Thanks for the help, chat.
I've never seen this come up. I have no idea. Regardless, I'm going to take it, and regardless, you're going to have to phase it out or you die.
I'm at 9 right now, so.
Well,
I can just phase this out.
That's true.
If I'm not going to get this back, I'll definitely just phase this out and let you attack Teferi if you want to, or put me to 3, and then I just untap with an Uro.
Yeah, that's true too.
And if I really want to gain more life, I can Uro again next turn.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So any continuous effect with a for as long as duration, such as Awaken or Druid, ignores phased out effects. Any such effects will expire if their conditions are no longer met after ignoring the phased out objects.
You said a lot of words there, but they didn't really make any.
Oh, no, wait, here we go.
Yeah,
Sorry, there's a more
I think
relevant
my
one.
brain
If
just
an opponent
exploded.
gains control of your creature and it phases out, and the duration of the control change effect expires before it phases in, that permanent phases in under your control as that opponent's next untap step begins. If they leave the game before their next untap step, it phases in as the next untap step begins after their turn would have begun.
So I'll get it back on your next turn if I phase it out after you take it.
You'll get it back untapped at the start of my turn.
Yes.
I'm glad you made sense of that because I'm just like lost.
So
Yeah, that was pretty
you
confusing.
claim it, then I'll phase out the Uro.
Okay.
Now you have a Lyris.
Okay. I'll attack you.
I go to 6, you go to 21.
Yep. And then I will crack this. Yeah, that's confusing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and I think I'll just bring back a Croxa. Okay, that's not a land. That's unfortunate. And I could just, be bringing one back the other way, but I think it's best to actually get it in
6/6.
play. Yeah. Okay, so this is still phased out. How weird.
Excellent draw.
Okay.
So I guess I'll loot.
Okay.
Actually, I'm at 6.
Yep.
Yeah, let's just loot.
Okay.
I guess that's even better.
Uh-oh. Quit drawing good things. Your whole deck is good cards, though. That's to be fair.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So I'll probably just have to. I might just still hit the Crocs up, but no, I would lose to another one. Well, you're gonna get a. No, I'm just phasing things out. Yeah, so why don't I kill Croxa Castle
Okay.
with the intention of just phasing this out on your turn so that you can't Croxa me for a turn, then I'll start getting Uro going and I won't really care about the Croxa.
Makes sense.
Yeah, this phases back in.
Okay.
On your upkeep, I will phase out the Lyris.
All right, makes sense. So, claim the firstborn time?
Mm. Oh, yeah, I guess I have to...
Huh?
Eh. Claim is going to beat me either way because I'm at 6.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. That's not a claim. All right,
Yeah.
pass 2.
Because if I waited for this, you would just Croxa me to 3 and then claim, and then even if I phase this out, you have 3.
Yep, exactly. All right, now we're in trouble.
Yeah, I did the phasing on your turn. So let's attack.
Okay.
I go to 9.
So I can block with the vessel with the thought of bringing it back, and then it's a 5/5. That's probably best. Yeah, all right. I'll gain a life.
You go to 22.
Yep.
And let's loot.
Okay.
Discard Zagoth Triome.
All right.
And I will just awkwardly exile both our creatures.
Okay.
I have another Uro ready to go. So
Yeah, makes sense.
not super worried. Pass the turn. Pass the turn.
All right. That's not very good. I'll scry. Yeah, my cards are not as powerful as yours. Your go.
I'll loot on your turn. Discard a Narset, I guess.
Okay. That can't be good.
Blue, blue, green, green. Uro.
Welcome to the Eurofest.
I go to 12. Put this land in. Loot.
Yep.
Discard this. Play another land for turn. Fetch that. Play a Tamio.
That's it? I can beat that.
Laura should still be in play, right? Because it was phased out.
Oh.
Oh, it was phasing. Stupid phasing.
Phasing gets us good.
Oh, that actually changes this game a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think you were going to win, but you would have like a 5-5.
Yeah.
And then like things would happen.
Yeah, it's like you're at 9. I'm still pretty in trouble.
We got to have like a marker for phasing.
Yeah. Whatever. It's pretty tough to come back from. The chances of me winning on that were quite slim. But yeah, thanks, chat. We'll go on record saying Ross lost that game for phasing rules.
Why would they bring back phasing?
Yeah,
I don't understand why that was a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah. What is it?
I'm with you on that one. I'm glad all of our tournaments are on arena
banding
right
is coming in the next set, y'all. So get ready.
Whose idea was that?
Yeah, who knows? All right, everybody. Well, that is going to do it for game number 1 here with our little finals rematch here. We're going to go to the sideboard and see what kind of tools we got. Don't go anywhere. All right, everybody. Welcome back to sideboarding here on Versus Live with Rakdos Sacrifice up against Sultai Tradebinder over there. For my end, I'm just trimming some of the weak cards. I'm taking out 1 claim, but Uro is so important. I'm still leaving in 3 because I got to deal with that card eventually. Mire Triton is one of the just weaker cards that, the synergies work decent, but it is still just a 2-mana 2/1 and not an ideal card. So we're trimming 2 of those. And then just 1 Weaponize, 1 Village Rite, 1 Archfiend's Vessel. I want to keep the core of the deck in place, but I just want to kind of trim from the top. All the hand disruption we have, because you are basically all spells, and then a couple grass to deal with, either Uro or Nissa is the big one. Yeah. So, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. On my side, I decided to make the change here and cut all the casualties and leave in the gusts just to really stop claim, actually. There's a lot of times where there's a 1-turn window where claim is going to be really good, and if you can gust it for that 1 turn, you're going to be fine. So it's a narrow card, but I think that purpose is powerful enough that I want to keep it around, and I really want to just trim expensive cards. Casualties of War, Ugin, unnecessary here. Narset always weak against aggro.
Yep.
And Tamio, while it does stop Priest, is awkward against Kroxa, because Kroxa says you take 3 if you didn't discard a card, so you just always take 3 from it.
Lightning bolt to the face every time.
And it's just another slow card. So cutting essentially all of our slowest cards for a bunch of great removal and this Haymaker and Enter the God Eternals, which gives us some more life gain. So a pretty nice sideboard here against aggressive decks.
I like it. Yeah, God, that deck just looks so powerful. Against aggro is definitely what you want. And Sultai mirrors sound pretty unenjoyable, but I'm definitely interested in the Sultai deck. This deck looked okay, but I just ran out of gas, and then if I don't draw perfects off the top, I just didn't have a chance. I could have drawn a claim there at the end and won the game, so it's not like I got blown out, but it still felt like I was out of control as far as, handling my own destiny on this game, and you had so many tools to be able to play in so many different ways.
Yeah, you almost always need to find an error from this side, but that's so easy when you have Teferi, and from your side, you need to both curve out, be able to play through a sweeper, not flood.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you have to do, that's for sure. But one thing that we get to do that we don't have to do is get some awesome questions from our audience. What do you got?
But only awesome ones.
Only awesome ones.
All right, we got one from Histeus here that I know.
That's got to be awesome.
All right, Ross probably won't think it's awesome, but Corey will. Right now in Pioneer, what do you think about Luca?
Oh, baby, fan me down, because I have been having a blast with it. What did I say I was in the car? I was 7-2. I think I was 12-3 or something, 12 or 13-3 so far with the deck. I think it beats everything except blue-white control, and I've lost to that twice. Out of the 3 times I played, I managed to beat it once. But I think that deck is insane, and it's going to be tier 1 just because it destroys Niv decks, which are the most popular. It destroys Sultai, which is not actually that popular. I think people are realizing that Niv also beats Sultai.
Yeah.
So Sultai just isn't great there, but Spirits and blue-white are the only decks I'm remotely scared to play against, and I just think it's the real deal. And I haven't even fully finished tuning the deck, so yes, Jeskai Luca's back.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. And it allows me to have the best nickname or the best deck name ever. Be like, I want it, I got it. An Ariana Grande song. Nice, right? I want it, I got it, because I steal all their stuff with Luca. Come on, man, keep up. I know it's early, but
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
No.
All right, shall we battle? Shall we battle? Aww. But my hand's bad. All right, one lander. Can't keep it.
I am going to keep this.
Okay.
It needs a little bit of help, but if it gets that help, it is very good.
Okay. Hate it. Well, Rob, you got one more question for us?
I do. Heptagon24 wants to know, what do y'all think about a Sultai ramp list playing some Fae of Wishes for some sort of wish board?
I think that's a little too slow, especially when disputes are still cards. Just a 4-mana sorcery is not great. I was never even a big fan of Fae when you had like fires, and that was like where you could abuse it. Like I really think Fae of Wishes just belongs in the adventure deck and has to be left there personally. But what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think what you're doing is going to be enough more powerful than what the normal Sultai deck is doing to justify.
Like they already have so many powerful cards.
Additional clunk factor that you're introducing, especially in aggressive matchups like this.
Yeah, that's the whole problem with Sultai right now already, is it is just kind of a chunky deck. It's really clunky. And, you know, whenever you draw early interaction and you don't draw all your big stuff, the deck looks great. But when you do, it looks less than great. Okay, I'm going to keep. It's not great, though.
Would you describe it as less than great?
I think it'd be less than great, yeah. I'm going to put this land on the bottom. And I'm going to take 2 and put a Gutter Bones. Here we go.
You're at 18. I'm knocking my sideboard everywhere.
I like it.
That was the best possible draw.
Great.
Play Fabled Passage and pass.
Great. Fabled Passage. I'm going to take 2.
16.
No, which one do I want to play? Probably the Priest, and then I'll attack for 2.
18.
Your go.
I will be getting a swamp.
Okay, swing it.
I will play an island and Thought Erasure you.
I got these 3 cards. Not great.
I will select the... Oh... I will take the claim.
Claim has been taken.
And surveil. Let's put this Uro right in the graveyard.
Lucky.
Pass the turn.
So lucky. All right. Well, let's see. How can I do this best? See if I want to do any pre-stuff. Like I could attack with Gutter Bones, play Fiend Artisan, sack them both, return Gutter Bones. So I'm like netting a card, or I'm drawing a card and then just putting this into the graveyard. It's probably not ideal.
And you're basically cycling the Fiend Artisan.
Yeah.
And also getting 2 life, but bouncing the Gutter Bones to your hand. So that 2 damage you're going to miss on the next turn, potentially.
Unless I draw a land, yeah.
Yeah, unless you draw a land.
But this card isn't much better. All right, I'm going to attack for 2.
16.
I am going to make this play, even though I don't love it, but I just need land drops, I think. So I'm going to sack these 2. You lose 2.
I'm at 14.
Draw a card. Then I'll return this and pass to you.
Okay, Forest, Cultivate.
Okay.
Let's get some basics. Definitely want to get another island for Uro purposes. And then I guess I'll get a forest.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
Worst possible land on
Ross,
there.
the decision to play Thought Erasure, that's just purely to put an extra card in the graveyard for Uro instead of like Agonizing Remorse?
I mean, the Surveil is also just quite a valuable effect anyway. It would make Thought Erasure, I think, better than Agonizing Remorse.
All right. I am going to attack for 1. Shoot a 13. Then I'm going to play this Gutter Bones and pass to you.
play a Triome. You have 3 in hand?
3, yep. You know about a grasp. Sack this while you do your thing.
Let's hold that for now. I'm going to play an Uro.
Uro.
Go to 16.
Okay.
And play... I'm actually going to put a forest in.
Okay.
And then play another forest with the intention of cycling this Triumph.
Okay.
Pass turn.
Untap. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to start by attacking for 2.
I go to 14.
Okay. And then I'm going to take 2. I'll go to 14. I'm going to play Crocs up. I'm going to stack it so you're going to discard first, and then I'll sacrifice it.
Okay. I will cycle Triumph with that on the stack.
Okay.
And... yeah, I guess I'll discard a land and take the 3.
Okay.
I'm at 11.
And then I'm going to sack these 2, take 2 more.
I'm at 9.
All right, I got 2 black, draw. I'm a little short of being able to escape the Uro. I don't want to do anything with Luris yet. So I think... what punishes me for that? Not a ton. Okay, so I'll use that 2 for this, and then I'll play a couple of bones. Here we go. A couple of bags of bones here.
So play a Triome, and then Extinction Event on Odd.
Okay.
Deal with those gutter bones. That really limits the effectiveness of this priest.
Yep.
And then pass the turn.
All right. Yeah, that's brutal. I will play a land and just attack for 1.
I go to 8.
And I'll put Luris into my hand and pass to you.
Pretty good draw. I will enter the God Eternals, milling myself and dealing damage to the priest.
Oh, Village Rites the priest.
Okay, so you're going to draw 2.
Yep.
I'm still going to mill 4 and get a 4/4, but I won't get any life.
Okay.
And where are our Cedrics? Here we go.
Okay.
And then I will play a tapped Water Grave and pass the turn.
All right. Play a land.
You have 4 in hand?
4, yep. Well, I kind of just want to lure us and get back this priest. Seems pretty decent. All right, Luris.
Yep.
Priest.
Yep.
Here you go.
Okay, now I think it's
Uro time.
Especially because I can recast it next turn if you grasp it.
Okay.
That'll bring me to 11.
Yep, 11 to 14.
Yeah. And... 3 in hand.
3, yep.
One of which is the grasp. So... mainly just hoping you don't have another claim, I guess.
Okay.
Even if you did, it wouldn't be the end of the world. So you wouldn't be able to get in the attack for 6. I could just chump. and you can get rid of the zombie, but that's not a big deal. The Uro is going to take over the game anyway. Yeah, I'm at 11.
14 to 11. Yep.
I guess you'd have to have like creature, claim, removal spell for the 4/4, which you don't really have any of because your removal is like Heartless Act and Noxious Grasp. And I guess if you had double claim, I would lose the game. Yeah, because you have 11 power there.
Let me just put this claim back on top.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna Heartless Act the Lyris. I guess I should do that on your upkeep, but whatever.
All right.
And pass the turn.
It's pretty good. I wanted that Lyris. Alrighty.
I like that Corey's thinking here, because I think the things that blow me out would be pretty obvious.
Yeah. You have how many cards?
I have 3.
Okay. Trying to think the best way to do this. All right. This is tricky. So much easier playing the powerful deck. You just play cards that answer your problems. Here you got to do all these tricky math situations and. All right, so I think I'm going to start with Kroxa, getting rid of these 5. Trigger.
You have 3 in hand. If I were to discard a land here and go to 8, and I guess if you had claim 3 in hand, if you had claim creature, you would kill me. Yeah, I think I'm just not going to take the risk. I'm just going to discard Extinction Event.
Okay. It's tricky. Tricky. So I have the Grasp, and I could just Grasp Uro, and then just let you do it again next turn. All right, I'm going to claim Uro.
How's the other claim?
Now I'll attack, trigger.
You go to 17.
Yep.
I will block with Cedric.
Okay, smart block. Now I have to sack, otherwise it'd be quite silly. Well, that's not bad. All right, I'm going to play a priest. Yep. I'm going to sack these 2.
So I go to 9.
Yep. And I'll
draw a card. You have 2 black and pool.
And nothing to use it on. Your go.
And now we're in good shape.
Yeah, I think that was the best I could do, but still not great.
Yep. I do have another Extinction Event in my hand to clear your board.
All right.
So name even. Blue, green. Get back Uro. That's 5. And I still have 5 left over after you grasp this.
Okay, you go to 12.
And I'll put this land onto the battlefield and pass the turn.
Yep, grass plus a scorpion.
So you go to 18.
And your go.
No, I'll thought erase you just to clear any potential removal out of the way.
Dang it.
I'll leave that one there.
I imagine these Rakdos players played against a lot of Sultai too. This just does not feel good. This does not feel like a good matchup at all.
And we'll go to 15.
Yep. I mean, the versions that play more Joriel and stuff like that, I bet this has a good matchup, but I think we just all kind of realizing that version is just bad. You know? But this one that just has spells is just so hard to deal with.
Cultivate. I'm not sure how many basics I have left, but...
Neither am I.
There's one.
All right, I got 8 mana and a dream. I don't even know what my best draw is. Like Crocs, I guess, but that's not even that good.
I will
claim into village rights, I guess.
Yeah, I'll pass the turn.
Go.
Guess I will start by just attacking.
Okay.
I go to 18.
I will take it. Go to 12.
I'll not put a land onto the battlefield.
Oh, great.
I will enter the God Eternals on the priest, milling myself.
Okay.
I gain another 4.
This is fine.
Yeah, everything's okay.
22.
Where did my setter go?
You win.
I wasn't done yet. I was going to play Teferi.
You win. Yeah, it didn't even feel like remotely close. I mean, it was close. There were turns, you know, where...
You needed very specific subsets of cards. Like, you know, anytime one person is going through the dance of, okay, what can beat me, and you really got to think about what they could possibly have to try to play around it, you're usually in good position.
Exactly, yeah. No, I mean, it felt really tough. Your removal lines up quite well. You know, I think, like, the way these decks were doing good is everybody was playing, like, Aether Gust as their piece of removal. And then you have Priest that just runs away with the game because Priest is insane. Like even the couple turns I got to activate it was just awesome, but just it isn't enough, you know. And
especially this build of the deck has a lot of 2s in it.
Yeah.
So you run into Extinction Event pretty hard. And
Luris decks always run into Extinction Events because it's so cluttered at 1 and 2s that you're eventually going to make it work, you know. But
so those things just they just don't really line up that well. And then Uro is just. I mean, it's hard to say too much about this card. It's just so incredible.
It's the most I mean, we were talking on our way to the show as well, and like Uro, I think is like leaps and bounds the best card in Standard right now. But I think the second best card is Winota. You know, the decks that have to play it are a little bit more narrow, but the sheer power level of that card is just as good as Uro. But it's not recursible, and it's a little bit more one-sided. You know what's going to happen with Winota. You know the turns that it's good. So if you can, hold up stuff, just do it, and you're probably okay. But Uro, it's just like it slots into the early game so nice because it ramps you, and then late game it takes over every time. I mean, it's just unreal.
And it's impossible to really interact with effectively. They have to sort of counter it the second time around, but you still got a really nice rampant growth effect out of it. That 3 life and explore, it keeps coming back. So that if your opponent's playing Uro, unless you're doing something really over the top powerful, you have to be the one that closes the game out.
Yep. And the over the top powerful thing we lost. That was the Team of Reclamation. That was kind of stepping over Uro. I mean, of course they played Uro as well, just because it's that good of a card. But we don't have those way over the top styles anymore. Maybe an Azorius control deck could be sweet because you can ECD it and stuff. Like that's one of the good clean answers to the card. But like Claim, if you think about what Claim really actually does, is it just neutralizes the amount of life that it already gained, because you play it at one point and then you're playing it again, so you're gaining a total of 6 life. Claiming it, you're just getting that 6 life taken away from you, but it's still a good card against the deck because of how good Uro is, because you're filling the board with other stuff as you do that.
And you can play things like Epic Downfall, but then Downfall doesn't hit Hydroid Krasis, and it doesn't hit the zombie army token from Enter the God Eternals.
Yeah,
so the Epic Downfall would be there specifically to deal with Uro.
And even if you have Epic Downfall, you're still 2-for-1ing yourself killing Uro.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the power of the card. So did y'all really need the reasons why Uro was good? Probably not, right? Okay. Well, hey, that's gonna do it for round 1. That was a nice clean beating 2-0 in favor of Ross. Next up, I got my Mardu list with some updated changes that I took 20th at last weekend up against.
I'm gonna be playing Teamer Adventure.
Oh, yeah, and this is always a really close match. This is one that I had in mind, and it's close, there's draws that you just run me over, and then there's draws that I'm going to just run you over. So should be a little high variance fun up for you. You know what? I'll go on to say it's going to be quite an adventure. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back here after a short 5-minute break.
F Corey.